Hello again, this is Robert Veach here. This is my video review of a fog light from a company called OEDRO LED. This is a light bar, a 12-inch, 180-watt LED flood spotlight combo beam, triple rows as you can see. It's got a different set of LEDs there versus there. It can be used on your trucks, your SUV, your cars, your boat, your pickup, or even just to have a spotlight in your car that you can plug into your cigarette lighter. It'll even work for that. It's a 100-watt LED. It has, like I mentioned, advanced triple rows of high-quality LED chips. They emit a bright white light and includes a wiring harness and mounting hardware, which we're going to show how this mounts. Now, looking at the specs here, let's see. It's 120 watts, has 36 times 3 watts high intensity LEDs. The beam pattern is a spot flood combination beam, and I believe that's what's going to be controlled by this switch right here. There is a push button switch and a control relay, and we're going to wire this and take a look at it. Now, this whole thing is IP67 waterproof, which means it's dustproof, shockproof, anti-corrosive, and it can even be submerged in water for 30 minutes at 1 meter. So you don't have to worry about rain and debris damaging the light. The lifespan should be over 50,000 hours, and the working temperature should be minus 40 to 85 degrees Celsius. It has a wide range. The material is 6063 aluminum material, high quality. It's all very smooth edges on there. It has certification of CE, FCC, and RoHS, which I'm going to have a slide showing what that all means. This comes with a full 3-year warranty from the manufacturer seller on Amazon. Now, you could, like I mentioned, you could just, in multiple places, even on motorcycles, trucks, SUVs, ATVs, boats, off-road vehicles, even garden lighting, or construction lighting. All you have to do is provide 12 volts to the system. Now we're going to measure the current too to see how much current is required. Now, in terms of heat dissipation, what they've done is they have a lot of fins on the aluminum right here, as you can see. Now we're going to test how well this cools off when we're powering this. And these large fins, with additional light here, will allow air to flow in between there, even when the car's not moving or the vehicle, and it cools this off. We're going to do a thermal test on that and see how well that actually does. Now, in terms of mounting this, it does come with some mounting screws. Before I do that, I'm going to mention it has a short little instruction book, which really doesn't go into too much detail about the mounting because they describe other mounts. But we're going to show you the mount right here. So you have 2 brackets that will mount on the bottom of these stainless steel screws, allow you to adjust the angle. Then you have 2 large stainless steel bolts that will go through this hole right here, and that's what's going to be mounted to your vehicle. Then these small stainless steel bolts have matching nuts that go on there, and also some compression style washers. Now what I've got here is a magnet. So you can see there is some attraction right there to these washers. So you might want to replace those with 100% stainless steel. But the bolts, the nuts, are all stainless steel, so you don't have to worry about rusting. So on the bottom of the light, you have the LEDs there. You have these screws that there's a total of 4, and they can be slid over to wherever you want to put them. And then these included brackets, I put the large nut and bolt with a compression washer on them, just like that. Now this can go this direction, where it's facing that way with respect to the LED. It can also go this direction, like that, depending on how you want to use it in your vehicle or wherever you're using it. But the basic concept is you slide this over those 2 nuts, just like that, and then you add the lock washer and the screw, and you tighten that up. I'm just going to tighten it by hand here. Once you tighten that, it will lock in place and it won't slide. And then once you mount it to your vehicle, wherever you're going to mount it, this will keep that locked in place also. Now the nice thing is that this allows you to adjust the angle. And that allows the angle of the light to be adjusted also. That's the whole idea. So you can flip that both directions, wherever you want, and determine what's the best position. And of course you can slide it this way too, like a rail, and you can get it to position on your car or bumper or hood, wherever you're going to put it. And that's a very simple mount, and it gives you a lot of flexibility. So here I have both mounts on there, locked in place. Now they can't move, and now it can be mounted with the larger bolts and nuts and compression washers to wherever you're going to mount it on your vehicle. Let's take a look at the wiring harness that's included. Connecting to your plus and minus of your battery terminals, they have these copper terminals, and that's where you're going to put your plus, your battery, and your minus, or your car earth ground. And then it goes right to a fuse box that you could pop open, and it has a 30 amp fuse in there. I think that's a kind of a large size. We're going to measure the current of this, but it's a 30 amp fuse, and that protects everything past this point. Then it goes to a control relay that you can mount anywhere on your vehicle, even inside the car. And then there's two sets of wires that come off this. And each one of these sets of wires are about 8 feet long, which is really nice. And one of this is going to go to the light right here. You're going to solder that in place. And the other one goes to a switch. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to go to the end of this, which is 8 feet away. And you're going to see two things. You're going to see the wiring connection, which you're going to solder matching the plus and the minus. We're going to do that. And then you're going to see this little control box, and it has a green and a red LED, and some double-sided sticky tape there. And this allows you to put it in your interior of your vehicle to control the lights. And then on this switch right here, they do have a terminal block to allow you to remove this for installation if you have to, or if you have to replace the switch. So that's nice. Wiring, this is really good setup for the wiring. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to connect this right here. I'm going to solder this up and show you how that's done, and then we're going to go on to the next step. So here I soldered the minus to the minus and the plus to the plus, and I recommend you put heat shrink tubing over the connection to help make it water resistant. So here I'm going to run a test. I'm going to power the light up, and I have a very nice switching power supply, and I'll have the link to the video review of this. It's a Pavino brand, and I have it set to 13.8 volts. I don't know if you can pick up the display there, 13.8 volts at any current that's required. And this is the voltage. 13.8 is a voltage that'll be on your alternator battery system in your car or vehicle. That's typical. So we're going to measure the current this draws. So I've got it literally wired with jumper leads right here to it. Now the control unit that it comes with, you can see has a red indicator on there, and then when you hit the button, it goes to green and the lights come on, and they're bright because it's kind of blinding me. And you'll also hear a clicking sound, and that clicking sound right here, if you listen, you hear that? That right there? That's actually the control relay that's kicking in. And what that allows you to do, that's very important, because that allows you to have a very low current switch inside your vehicle to control a relatively high current floodlight. Now the power that this thing is drawing is not bad at all. I am getting 2.5 amps of power draw on there. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. Drawing 2.5 amps times 13.8 volts. So that's a very reasonable amount of power. It's not going to drain your car battery. And if you wanted to power this thing externally with lithium-ion batteries, that would be easy to do also, because that's not a ridiculous amount of power. That's essentially the watts of 13 times 2.5. That's not bad at all. So now we're going to measure the lux of this, just to get an idea of how bright this is. And we're going to do some thermal testing on it too. We're going to let this run and heat up. So I've had this running now for about 15 minutes. So we're going to do a little simple test right here. We're going to slide this forward so we can get access to it. Just like that. And I'm going to look at the temperature right here. So I have a temperature gun. So my table is at 69 degrees. If I point to the LEDs, it's 80, 82 degrees. If I point to the back of the heatsink, it's 86 degrees. So that's a good thing. What that's telling me is that the heat that these lamps are generating, these LED lamps, less is going forward than it's going back. So what's happening is this heatsink that I mentioned is cooling those LEDs off. And that's what you want. You want those LEDs to be protected. And this aluminum with those fins is doing that protection. Now the LEDs are rated at 8,000 lumens. We're going to measure the lux. And it's pure white. It's 6,000 to 6,500 K. That's the color of it. And you can see on my hand, you can kind of see that it's a pure white LED. Okay, I have the studio lights all off, and I have the OEDRO LED light bar on, and I have a lux meter, and I'm going to go 1 foot away from the center line of the light, and you can see it varies, but it's 5,800 lux, 5,900 lux. So that's at 1 foot away. So that's bright. It shows how bright it is. Now this isn't lumens. I can't measure lumens in my lab, but this is lux, and at 1 foot away, that's very bright. The next thing I'm going to show is the pattern that these lights produce. So here I have it powered up with that same power supply. I have mounted on the end of my table right there, and I have it going to a green screen, which is 12 feet away. Now you can see the pattern. It's very bright, and it looks very even. There's a little bit of more center in the center light, which is what you expect from a floodlight. It is a floodlight, but you see how it's got nice width. It's going outward and up and down, and that's what you want. It's going to point on the road as you're driving, and it's going to allow your vehicle to be seen and allow you to see the road, especially if you put it low down on your bumper. But it's very bright. That's a green screen, so it's absorbing a lot of the light. If there was a white wall, it'd be even brighter. But it gives you an idea of the actual light pattern. So what do I think about the OEDRO LED light bar, the 12-inch flood combination beam with triple rows of LEDs? You could use this on your off-road vehicles, your truck, your car, your Jeep, your SUV, your boat. You can make your own spotlight with it. It's extremely bright, and it only draws 33 watts. It'll work on a single 12-volt car battery system or a dual 24-volt system. It works up to 32 volts, and it is totally waterproof at IP67 with a 3-year warranty. The fact this thing runs extremely cool to the touch, which means these are going to last forever. I like this product. I'm going to give it a full 5-star rating on my channel. Please remember to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you'll alert to new video uploads. And if you like this review, please hit the like button. I hope the information I presented helps you with your buying decisions. Thanks for watching.